Adam Small here again from My Music Masterclass, and today we're on lesson 2 of my new series, Never Miss a Beat on Bass. If you haven't seen the first part of this series, lesson 1, you should go back and check it out because it kind of offers the reasoning as to why we're doing this stuff in the first place and some of the concepts behind it. The exercise I'm going to unveil today is especially difficult, at least for me. Maybe it'll be easy for all you out there. But it's very difficult for my left hand, especially, and there's obviously other elements that are difficult as well for your right hand and so forth. So just like all the other exercises in this series, if you cheat, you're just cheating yourself. So what you have to do is concentrate on all the elements that I'm going to set forth. But first, you're going to hear this thing at 105 BPM, and I'm going to start it off with just some chord shapes so you can hear the harmony behind it and then play the exercise. So here we go. All right, so that was the full exercise. The chords in the beginning were just to give you a sense of the harmony, and I left them in so you could hear how the bass line works within the harmony. You don't have to do that if you don't want. The exercise starts when I start playing the bass line. Now, I always strive for perfection when I'm doing these things. That means that I try to never crack a note, I try to never miss a beat, I try to never miss a finger when I'm alternating. Do I ever achieve perfection? Never, not once in my life. I'm always striving to do better, and often what I do and what you should do is record yourself and listen back so that you can get a real sense of what's happening. Am I rushing or dragging my triplets? Did I clank a few notes here and there? Whatever the case is, it's great to record yourself and listen back so that you can objectively hear yourself in a different light. I'm doing it via video right now, so I can't hide from anyone, so I can listen to myself back and go, ugh. But you always want to strive to be perfect, at least in the practice room. This is the time to hone in on all the nuances. All right, so I'm going to break this down for you at a slower tempo, piece by piece. We're going to start with our first finger here on our right hand. That's important, okay? Not our middle finger. Okay, so that's the very first part. Now, like I said, we're starting on our first finger on our right hand. Now, this stretch may be too much for you, and it is a beast, okay? So this is from, my first finger on my G on my 3rd fret, and here you go on the 7th fret on my G string, right? This D here. So that is a big stretch. If you have smaller hands, and you need to alter this, you can. Instead of going like this, you can go like this instead. But either way you do it, you don't want to clank any notes, especially if you're doing the stretch, right? So if you go like this, hear that clank? Like I just missed the note. I'm trying to clank it. There you go. That's not clean. So I would do that again. I'd try to make it so that I could play that passage cleanly. Okay, you want to hit that note clean. And it's tough, but if you're going to do this stretch, you got to nail it. All right, let's get to the next part here. This one starts on our 4th finger, and this is going to be kind of tricky. This is almost like a crab exercise on classical guitar or something, because you're moving around in strange ways. So I have my fourth finger here on B flat, and I am gonna hit the octave there on my G string on the third fret, see? So, and then you have to get this finger down here to this C, okay, which is basically the ninth of the chord, or the second degree. All right, now this is really hard, like I said, and if you can see that my first finger here, I'm not hitting it on my fingertip. I am barring this a bit because otherwise it's going to be really difficult for you to pull off, because you have to get this stretch, which is really awkward. So I don't do it like that with my fingertip. I bar this finger and I hit it almost with the side of my finger here. And then so that this third finger can get down here, because otherwise that's really tricky. Because you want to get this cleanly. See, I just buzzed it. I didn't want to buzz it. Now it does a walk up to the D, which is the root of the next chord, but I also do a shift to get to my first finger. So I'm going to show you that positionally. Shift to your first finger. You can play it like that with 1, 3. I sometimes play with my octaves like this so I can do some more muting. It all depends on whatever your technique is. So it goes like this. So that's not so bad. So in entirety, that's the first section. It goes like this. All right, and now it goes back to the beginning. All right, so it's the same up until this part. Now we're at the walk up again, but this time it's going to be different. And the goal of this is to land eventually on our middle finger so that we can do this exercise starting on the middle finger instead of the first finger. But what we're going to do here is a fill that has 3 sets of triplets. This fill goes like this. Right, and I land on my middle finger. Let me play that again, and then I'll explain what it is. So this fill, like I said, it's 3 triplets, but what it's doing harmonically is it's outlining this D7 chord that's going back to G minor, okay? It's leading back to your G minor. And I can go through the harmony of this real quick as I talk about this part, right? So I played the chords in the example, you can hear them. Essentially you have G minor, right? B flat major. And then what you have here is a minor 2-5-1 back to G, back to minor, right? So this is a half diminished, and this is a D7 with a flat 9 and whatever else, flat 13, anything that you want to put into it. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple here. I'm thinking approach tones, which I'm going to explain, and I'm thinking about my parent minor. So this is almost like a G harmonic minor thingy with approach tones. So on this walk up, I'm starting on A minor, and we're getting to D7. Right, so right there, I'm just chromatically approaching from the flat 7. This is just a chromatic approach tone to my D7 chord, right? Right, so that's kind of weird, right? What is that? So this, you can think of as a flat 6 or a flat 13 of your D7 chord, like this. Which is technically, this is the 5th mode of the harmonic minor, but I'm just kind of thinking of it as a color note. So I'm going, and all this is, I'm thinking of this as an approach tone. So I'm just going a half step above and a half step below this 3rd of the chord. I'm approaching this note, the F sharp. So I'm going like this. See that? This is part of the chord. So, and then I hit the 5th, and then the root. So let's take it from here. right, so now you're on your second finger. So let's do this whole thing starting in the second finger. That's the exact same thing as the first time we did it, right? But we're starting on our second finger. Let's keep going. All right, so that's the second part. Let me break this fill down. Same thing we're gonna do with the triplets, meaning that we have 3 groups of triplets. So we're gonna reverse, at the end of this, we're gonna reverse and be on our first finger again to start the entire sequence from the beginning. So you can keep looping this. But let me explain this fill. Again, without getting too into approach notes and how to add chromaticism to your playing, we're just going to do this. 2 below, so you're gonna start from here. We're targeting this note, this D. We're gonna go, but instead of landing here, we're gonna go 1 above and then land back on it, right? So, like this. See how we landed on this D, but we just outlined it chromatically? Right, and now you're doing an approach note to the 3rd of the chord. See? So I just went a half step below this 3rd, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the B flat, which can be considered a flat 6 depending on how you wanna do it, or if you're thinking of your chord, your dominant chord in a different way, you might think of it as a sharp 5th, which is in harmonic, so it's up to you. But that's what I'm doing, right? And then I'm just chromatically approaching this G, and you could also consider that the major 7 of a minor major 7 in the harmonic minor scale, which wouldn't be chromatic at all. But this is how it goes in its entirety, that fill. And you should end this whole thing on your first finger, not on your second finger, if you're doing it right. All right, so you see what I did at the end of that? I had to get myself in position to start this thing again. Because if I'm on my second finger and I have to start my whole stretchy thing, it's gonna just destroy me. For instance, if I go, I can't do it. I can't do that. I have to be on my first finger. So I'm gonna switch after the first 8th note, like this. Now, once you land there, you've done the entire sequence of the exercise, meaning that you're on your first finger again, and you can just go back and repeat the entire thing again. If you need to take a break and give your left hand or your right hand or a rest for any reason, definitely do so. This is not worth getting carpal tunnel over or having any wrist injuries. So if you're having trouble playing this cleanly, because there is a lot of tension that can happen in your left hand in this exercise, especially when you're trying to fret this note and hold down this A, with your 4th finger, and then playing this 3rd finger here on your B. That's really hard. Like this stuff, it's not natural. So don't destroy your hand doing it. Take breaks as soon as you feel any tension. Don't hurt yourself, and do it at whatever pace you need to do. Do it in pieces until you can work up to it, whatever you want to do, but just don't injure yourself. So that's pretty much it for now. Just remember to, check yourself, like always alternate the fingers on the right hand here. Make sure you're landing on the correct ones. No raking, like I said in the last video. You don't want to be raking. You don't want to be cheating in any way. If your notes are buzzing, clean it up or play it slower or change your fingering. Do whatever you have to do to make it sound as musical and beautiful and as perfect as you can make it. And please like and subscribe and do all that stuff every YouTuber says. Ask any questions or put your feedback in the comments, and I'll just keep filming more content if you want it. So see you next time.